So December 3rd, 1999, we went home that night, and about 11:30 at night we got a call from Hal's good friend Jeremy, and he had indicated that Hal had been in a car accident.
So the night of Hal's accident, we were at a conference and we were coming back from it. He gets in the car, I get in my car, and we head out. He got ahead of me and I caught a red light.
Hal was driving about 65 miles per hour.
The drunk driver was going 80 miles an hour.
Someone crossed the median and hit them head on. His Ford Mustang spun around and the oncoming driver T-boned him.
There was like all this debris in the middle of the freeway. And my buddy looks out the window and says, I think that was a Mustang on the side of the road. I was like, dude, I couldn't even tell. And as I kind of started driving, he's like, no, man, I think that was Hal's Mustang.
When I talked to Jeremy, I told him to tell Hal that we loved him and, that he had to hang in there and that, we were all coming.
The fire department, everyone showed up. They had to cut through the car to have to pull him out. His heart had stopped for about 6 to 7 minutes.
I remember walking through the door, and it was like they'd been waiting for us. And there was whispers, and it was like the L-rods are here, and then we were rushed into a room.
The damage that was done to his body was horrific. They did not expect him to live through the weekend.
He's probably not going to be able to hear because of the damage to his ear. He might not be able to see because he had shattered bones around his eye. He'll never walk again.
There was so much brain trauma, and they told us that, he would be a vegetable.
I think he was in the coma for about a week.
First, it was like, say goodbye. Then they were like, oh, looks like he might make it, sort of.
We knew he was alive inside. His brain was still working. He wasn't a vegetable, and he woke up the next day talking.
When Hal woke up, his short-term memory was completely impacted. So it was like Groundhog's Day every day. I remember one time he's like, did I get in a plane crash? And I think we went with that story for a little while. I was like, tomorrow we'll retell the real story again, And he took his first step, and it was just another one of those things where people were just shocked at how fast he was coming back.
He just defied everything the doctors said. We laughed through all of it. It was just, you always kind of found humor, and I think that helped him survive.
When Hal got out of the hospital 4 months later, his high school principal called and he said, I know this is crazy, but he goes, do you think Hal would speak to the student body? And so that was the start, really, of Hal's speaking career.
I just feel like Hal had another purpose. He wasn't done yet. I still believe that now. It was a miracle.
Why is it that when a baby is born, we often refer to them as the miracle of life, but then we go on to accept mediocrity for our own lives? Where along the way did we lose sight of the miracle that we are living? Perhaps we became jaded by the challenges, the setbacks, and the disappointments. When we were born, everyone assured us that we could do, have, and be anything we wanted when we grew up. So now that you've grown up, are you doing, having, and being anything and everything you've ever wanted?
I think people struggle most in life today with fulfilling their potential. The average person is settling for less than they really want and less than they're capable of, and as a result of settling, life becomes a struggle. Physically, the obesity rate is higher than it's ever been before. Mentally and emotionally, more prescription medication is doled out now by doctors than has ever been recorded in history. People are struggling mentally and emotionally. Relationally, the divorce rate is still over 50%. Financially, there's more personal debt in the United States than at any other time in our history. People are settling for less than they're capable of, and as a result of settling, life becomes a struggle.
According to the Social Security Administration, if you take any 100 people at the start of their working careers and follow them for the next 40 years until they reach retirement age, here's what you'll find. Only 1 will be wealthy, 4 will be financially secure, 5 will continue working, not because they want to, but because they have to, 36 will be dead, and 54 will be broke and dependent on friends, family, relatives, and the government to take care of them. Monetarily speaking, that's only 5% of us who will succeed in creating a life of freedom, and 95% who will continue to struggle their entire lives. It's no wonder that nationwide polls have shown that only 1 in 3 Americans are actually happy.
Let's talk more about what's going on here in this trading session so far today after this big plunge.
I've had in my life what I would call 2 rock bottoms. In 2008, the U.S. economy crashed, and like so many other people in the world, I suffered the financial consequences. Overnight, I lost over half of my coaching clients. I lost over half my income. I couldn't pay my mortgage. I lost my house. I was deep in debt. I got in the worst shape physically, and for the first time in my life, I got deeply depressed. I was a motivational speaker. To tell everyone that I was failing miserably was a real identity crisis for me. My wife-to-be, Ursula, said, Hal, why don't you call John Berghoff, your good friend? He, amongst everybody, is one of the smartest business minds you know. He can give you some great advice to turn things around.
Hal called me and said, JB, I'm really struggling in my life. And I just said to him, I said, hey, buddy, I don't have all the answers, but I feel like you really need to become the type of person that deserves to attract that success. And he really took that to heart.
And I was expecting business advice, step 1, step 2, step 3. And he said, Hal, 2 things. You need to exercise every morning, go for a run every morning. And while you're on that run, listen to some self-help. Listen to a business audiobook. And he said, put yourself in a peak physical, mental, and emotional state every morning to start your day, and then learn something you can apply to your life, to your business, to your goals while you're in that peak state. And my response was, John, I hate running. What else could I do? And without hesitation, he said, what do you hate worse, running or your circumstance that you just described to me? I said, okay, touche, buddy. I'll go for a run. I grabbed my iPod, which I was this close to selling for food. And on that run, I heard a quote from Jim Rohn that changed my entire life. Jim Rohn said, your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development because success is something you attract by the person you become. I realized I'm not dedicating time every day to my personal development. Therefore, I'm not becoming the person that I need to be that can attract or create or sustain the success that I want in my life. And I had an epiphany. I thought, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna Google what do the world's most successful people do every day for their personal development. I'm gonna figure out what the best personal development practice is known to man, and I'm gonna do that. And after an hour of research, I couldn't narrow it down to one. I had a list of 6. And those 6 practices, when I tried to figure out which was the best of the 6, there was no clear answer. It depended on which successful person that you asked. So I had an epiphany. I thought, what if I did all 6 of them? What if I woke up tomorrow and I did all 6 practices in 1 hour, one ritual? My research had shown no one does all 6, maybe 1 or 2, 3 at the most. And I thought this would be the ultimate personal development ritual. I woke up the next morning, even though I wasn't a morning person. I jumped out of bed, I went into the living room, and I went through all 6 practices for 10 minutes each. And at the end of that hour, by 6 a.m., my entire life changed. Because even though my outer world was still a mess, even though my finances and my physical health, my fitness, my everything was a mess on the outside, internally, I felt like I could overcome and accomplish anything. And in that moment, I realized if I start every day like this, with this much clarity and motivation and energy, it's only a matter of time before I become the person that I need to be that can create anything that I want for my life.
When I had heard about that morning routine, I thought, that's not a bad idea. I'm not a morning person. I still don't have a morning routine today. And then he decides to give it a cool name, and he calls it the Miracle Morning. I'm sure I had tried to talk him out of calling it the Miracle Morning. And then it started to catch on.
I remember first hearing about the Miracle Morning because Hal was doing it. And this was just in casual conversation, Hal sharing with me another routine, another idea, another strategy that he was using to, amplify his life. When I knew this was something special is when Hal called me when I think his name was Joe. Somebody had posted that they were doing the Miracle Morning and they had posted a picture of their alarm clock. And I remember the first time that he saw the impact. And the feeling that I remember is the joy of Hal knowing that he was helping another person.
Good morning. This is your friend Joe Diasana. Hope you're doing well. Guess what? Let's look at the time. It is 5:41 in the morning on Sunday. You must be wondering, what in the world, dude, are you doing this early in the morning? Well, check out miraclemorning.com. That's miraclemorning.com. Look at the information, download it. It feels like Christmas to me, honestly, and I've got a lot of energy. It feels like Christmas every day. So, anyways, check it out, and hope your life will be blessed. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm just finishing up a extended Miracle Morning.
Since the Miracle Morning, I've been getting my best results ever.
I've just been much more productive. My days last longer.
How to have a miracle morning, coming to you from Jaco, Costa Rica.
I came out to work out early in the morning, a little bit earlier than my usual time.
Before 8 o'clock in the morning, I am so energized that, yeah, I've done so much, I've accomplished so much.
You getting your Miracle Morning on? Yeah? Do you know what silence is? I don't think you do.
I think there's a number of reasons why the Miracle Morning caught on. Hal packaged it in a way where there's these very clear steps that people can take.
Hal's taken something fairly complex and made it simple. Even if you're laying in bed, you can do half of them in bed. You can do your silence and your affirmations and your visualizations before you even get out of bed. It's like a miracle pill, if you will, for starting your day right.
When I was first introduced to the Miracle Morning, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. I was like, nope, not for me. I know people who do things in the morning, but I'm a night person. Like, I'm always gonna be a night person. Of course, it was very difficult at first to just wake up even an hour earlier than normal. Before, I would often wake up at, between 7 and 8 because it was time to get the kids ready. But ever since I learned from Hal in the Miracle Morning that you can wake up for yourself first and dedicate that energy to personal development, to improving yourself and your life so that you can better serve other people during the day. I said, okay, well, that makes sense to me.
My morning routine is everything. It's 4:30 in the afternoon right now, and I still feel annoyingly good. It's like I have this pure and this clean and this positive framed mind and energy right now because I'm so crazy diligent about the morning routine. A lot of people say to me, well, Brendan, I'm just not a morning person, so I don't have a morning routine. It's not that you're not a morning person, you're not a prepared person. And there's two different ways, right? Because those who say, well, I'm not a morning person, or I don't have a morning routine because it's too much discipline, I'm just like, listen, your next level of success in life is preparation. Everyone's got a different morning routine. What's most important is that you evaluate the ones that you start to see which ones work best for you.
I have a very conflicted relationship with morning routines. I've seen the devastating effects that having the wrong routine does to your life, because that's what was happening for me 8 years ago, is you don't think that it's a routine, but hitting the snooze alarm 4 or 5 times a morning is a routine. Lying in bed and allowing anxiety to take over, that is a routine. Being late every day, that's a routine. Getting your kids to school late, that becomes a routine. And so you don't think about a routine in the negative, but most of us, when we're stuck, when our lives aren't working, when we're not happy, if you were to take a look at, quote, the routine that you're actually in, those small 5-second choices create a routine of negativity that f*** your entire day. When you get intentional about how you start your day, you create a routine that sets you up for extraordinary success, that puts you in control of what you're thinking about, of what your priorities are, that aligns you with your values, that primes your mind to work for you instead of working against you.
When I made the decision to write The Miracle Morning, I thought, who's going to read this? People have such a deeply ingrained belief of not being a morning person that is created, I believe, when we're kids, because we want to sleep in as kids and we only get out of bed because our parents make us. So we develop this resistance to waking up early. It's like, no, if I don't have to get out of bed, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm going to sleep as long as mom and dad will let me.
Most people really do wake up and they feel exhausted, and then they turn on the news. What does the news do? It actually pours cortisol, the fear chemical, through your brain. They lose their energy, they lose their creativity. They start to perceive reality as a dangerous place versus a generous, optimistic place to be. And just because of the way they front and load their day, they set themselves up for a day of average. If you look at many of the most productive people in the world, they all had one thing in common. They were early risers. And so when I started wiring this morning ritual, everything started to change. By 6 o'clock, I felt fundamentally different. I felt more confident. I felt more energy. And I believe your days are your life in miniature. And if you start your day well and you take care of the day that follows, the days slip into weeks, the weeks slip into months, the months slip into years. You're pretty much guaranteed a world-class life if you get your days right.
The biggest impact that a morning routine's had on my life is probably sleep regulation. So sleep, of course, is critical. We need to sleep. If we don't sleep, we get very unhealthy. Eventually, we can die from lack of sleep, oddly enough. And sleep is not just a rest mode and repair and recovery mode. Sleep is also used for learning and consolidation of memories.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep, okay? Sleep affects every organ system and every disease state. There is no single human function that isn't affected by the way you sleep, in amount or in quality. So let me give you an example. We now know that the more sleep deprived you are, the faster cancer cells multiply. We know that if you deliver chemotherapy at certain times in your chronorhythm, that it will be more effective. We know that your reaction time when you have been up for more than 36 hours slows to the point of being a drunk driver when we put you in a driving simulator, okay? We know that decision making is terrible. Great study at the University of Las Vegas that found that people will gamble the more sleep deprived they are, and they know what the odds are and they don't care.
The amount of sleep probably isn't all that important. What is most important is the quality and the regulation of sleep. And a lot of that, I would say the vast majority of sleep regulation, is driven by not when you go to bed, but when you wake up. There's a certain frequency, if you will, bandwidth of light that is prevalent in the air in the first hour or so after the sun comes up. And that is the signal our brains evolved to reset our circadian rhythms around. And so if you get sunlight in the first hour, in your face, even a few minutes, it will strongly reset your own circadian rhythm and sort of line it up on the Earth's photoperiod, so you're in sync with the Earth's daylight cycle.
I wake up in alignment with my circadian biology. I know the time that I perform best when I wake up, and it varies from person to person. You can shift it a little bit, but it's kind of wired in. When you wake up, have a glass of water. Bonus points if you put about a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt in the water and possibly lemon or lime juice. If you do that, even apple cider vinegar can work. If you do that, first thing, that actually supports your adrenal glands and you can have your coffee. Having a morning protein shake can be really beneficial for you. And when you're doing your morning protein shake, you want to minimize the number of carbohydrates that are in it, and you want to maximize the number of nutrients that are in there. So when you add things like leafy greens to it, you're giving yourself some extra nutrients, which are really good. And the important thing is to make sure you get enough of the right kinds of fat in your morning shake. So you can take any of your favorite protein shake compositions, and when you add a fat source, it can even be like a little bit of almond butter. You can add real butter if you want to. Surprisingly, that's good in a shake. What you want to do is you want to eat for energy first and taste second. When you get food that's higher quality, you feel better. And when you feel better, you like your life, and you also spend less at the doctor's office.
I spent 8 years as an officer in the U.S. Army. We had a motto in the Army: we get more stuff done before 9 a.m. than the rest of the world does all day. I've always been a morning person. I've always subscribed to that theory. But the problem was, especially as an entrepreneur, like, what was I doing with that time that I was waking up early? And it wasn't really that focus of a time. And that's really what I love about the Miracle Morning, is that it gave me that direction. It gave me that focus and allowed me to say, hey, I'm going to take the hours that I'm waking up earlier than everybody else and actually putting me into something that's productive, not just waking up early.
The Miracle Morning practices are like the iron that smooths out the wrinkles in an otherwise, wrinkly shirt, which is this life that we live. It's not brand new to suddenly be silent in the morning and to have affirmations and to exercise, but these are the rituals of every successful person you could think of. It's amazing how fast the changes happen, and you feel it in your head, the magic that starts to happen.
So we study together, we learn together, we attend seminars together, we do book studies together. We're doing our Miracle Mornings, and then we sit down and we have our cup of coffee and we say, okay, so what did you read, and what did I read, and what did you get from today, and we discuss it.
Next up, step-ups.
Oh, step-ups! That's kind of easy.
Three, 2, 1. Next up, tricep dips. 10 seconds to go.
Workout complete. I don't care what my wife says about the 7-minute workout not being her warm-up, and she teases me. It's a real workout, folks. Probably not footage for the film. You never know. Here's the first attempt at my sexy underwear. So Calvin Klein, sexy underwear. Eggplant jerky. You won't find that too many places. I've had this in here for like 4 years. And I hang on to the possibility, well, I might want an iced coffee one day at some point, but you know what? That's it. I'm done with it. All right, we got everything ready to go? Let's go. Woo! We're ready, dude. We got our bags. We're ready to go. Going to Toronto to speak at Socialite.
He's been in the Hall of Fame Business Achiever. He's known as Yo Pal Hal. And are you guys excited? We're going to give Hal a warm Toronto welcome, everybody. Bring it up for Hal.
I want to hug you. I just want to hug you. How about Teresa? You guys ready to have some fun? Yeah. All right, I have nothing fun planned. I apologize on that front. You're waking up because you what? Because you want to become the person that can create everything you want for your life. Now matters more than any other time in your life. Right? You can't wait for someday. You can't wait to wake up one day and realize you could have been done and had so much more. Tonight, set your alarm clock back 30 minutes. Even do it right now. I will give you one bonus tip. Move your alarm clock as far across the room as possible. Because I don't care who you are, myself included, if I can reach the alarm... That could have been a lot worse. All right, so if I can reach the alarm, right? If I can reach the alarm while I'm still 90% asleep, what do you do most of the time? You snooze, right? You fall back asleep. Most people, for their first 30-day challenge, they just read the Miracle Morning during their 30 minutes, right? Until they get to the savers, and then they go, oh, okay, I can implement silence into this. Then I can add affirmations, right? Go through all the practices. Who's ready to start the Miracle Morning Challenge tomorrow? Raise your hand and say, All right, I just want to close by saying thank you for being at this event. Thank you for allowing me to share my message with you. I hope it's inspired you, it's empowered you. I hope to see you in the Miracle Morning community. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Captain with a C, all right? Denise.
I've only got the first chapter, and you've already conquered my fear. So I know, I really respect that about you.
It was really after the book published, and we started seeing, dozens, and then hundreds, and then thousands of people sharing, emailing me, posting on Facebook, putting on Amazon in the form of a book review, that the Miracle Morning had radically transformed their life. And we saw things like, it saved my marriage. It got me off my depression medication. I saw these amazing results. And we came up with this mission, which is change 1 million lives one morning at a time.
This life-changing book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
So I actually got up at 5 a.m.
Good morning. It's just after 6 o'clock.
I was like, I gotta do this. This is a way out for me.
So you don't get up because you have to, but you get up because you want to.
We got books, we got books, we got books.
When are you going to actually live your life instead of numbingly going through the motions?
I'm not a morning person, but anyone can do the Miracle Morning because it's customized to you.
That date that I started the Miracle Morning, that was the date that changed everything.
I'm happier, I'm smiling more, it's working.
The Miracle Morning is not just a book, it's a community of highly effective people.
The Miracle Morning has given me strength.
You already have a plan from the moment you get up.
What he did was he put into one form the best ancient wisdom practices in the world, so I can do them every morning, SAVERS, which fits my kind of goofy lifestyle.
As we've grown and evolved as human beings, we've developed morning routines that take care of our physical space. I'll give you an example. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you shower, you put on cologne, and we head to work. But if you go back 100 years, all of us would stink. People would maybe shower once a week. Now, in the last 100 years, we've evolved in terms of how we treat our physical spaces. It's rare to meet someone who doesn't shower every single day. But here's the problem. We haven't evolved how we take care of our minds. So while we clean our bodies, we wake up. Billions of people wake up every single day with their minds filled with anxiety, fear, stress, worry, and they assume it's normal. It isn't. These things are not normal, and we need to learn how to clean our minds. A mind wash is what meditation does. The amount of research showing the benefits of meditation is just growing. Last I read, there are 1,400 different studies on how meditation improves every aspect of your life, from your health to longevity, to the way your heart functions, to creativity, to happiness levels. But it's so little understood.
We have so many thoughts going on in our head, and we have the idea, oh, well, if I meditate, I'm not supposed to have any thoughts. That's not true. You just learn how to work with the thoughts. You learn how to accept that your mind is active. Routines in general, I think, are incredibly powerful. I trained in Zen for 17 years, and the whole basis of Zen is ritualizing every moment of your day so that you experience it more and more fully as a result of the rituals.
So science is also now proving that meditation actually increases different neurotransmitters in our brain, and that practice of gratitude or prayer or whatever form of silence that somebody practices actually has a physiological effect in the body.
Silence is actually a form of meditation.
And sometimes I will just, I do many kinds of meditations, and one of them is just simply to notice the silence. And in the silence, I live in a beautiful place, so I can even hear the birds right when the sun is rising. They all wake up and they sing. It's extremely soothing to the physiology to just listen in silence to the birds singing.
I believe when you quiet your mind, it lets the wisdom of God, the wisdom of infinite intelligence or higher being, higher power, whatever you want to call it, I believe it lets that spirit into your brain, and you'll kind of have a thought that if you weren't quiet, you wouldn't have heard.
Someone came up to me and they said, "Hey, do you do live events?" And I said, "What do you mean? I mean, I'm speaking at I just spoke at this live event. What do you mean?" And they go, No. Do you actually put on your own live event? So I thought that's a great idea, you know, doing live events. And I put on my goals, do a live event. Writing a book is scary, pales in comparison to putting on a live event, because guess what? You rent a big giant hotel room and you have to fill it with people. And it's real scary because you set a date, you rent the room, and you don't know if anybody's gonna show up. You don't know if you're gonna sell any tickets.
He told me that he had a live event that he had sold 200 tickets to. He had sold this thing out. And I said, "What's your plan for the event?" And he was still working on that.
So he said, "Do you want me to help you put on your first live event, and we can, I can kind of work with you on this?" And he was just gonna advise me at first. And as we got into advising, I said, "Will you do this with me? Will you help me facilitate the event?"
We had no idea if it was gonna work, even up till the moment that we were doing it. And then we were blown away. When a group of people get together around a higher purpose, they can't help but see their own higher purpose within the vision of that group.
Almost every person in the audience was a practitioner of the Miracle Morning. So I had 180 Miracle Morning community members in that audience. And I realized, wow, this is my community right here sitting in front of me, right here sitting with each other, talking to one another, supporting each other with their goals, with their dreams, in having their best year ever. Something that my good friend John Vroman says, proximity is power, right? And the proximity of being close to people that are like-minded, that you have a shared common purpose or objective, or in this case, really practice, being the Miracle Morning. The closer you get to people that you're in a community with, the more you're able to transform one another's lives, and that's what our live events have done for the members of the Miracle Morning community.
Simple things.
I first heard about the Miracle Morning from my mom, who had read the book, started practicing it, and then had my sister and I go on a plane to the co-creation event.
And that was really cool to see. We got to meet a whole bunch of different people who had their lives impacted by the Miracle Morning and by Hal, and we got to see everything in person. So that really inspired us to start doing it and to start the club.
They have so much on their plate these days, and the pressures are so much greater to get into college and just finish with high school with straight A's and SAT scores and blah, blah, blah.
I know mornings are one of the most difficult times for kids to get out of bed and be functioning in the mornings.
She was always the last one out the door, basically running by the counter, grabbing something to eat, and she's out. She's now up before Michelle. She's out with a half an hour leeway, calmly packing up her stuff, calmly having a sit-down breakfast, ready to go.
They started us off by, going through the savers and teaching us different techniques to do that.
As their mom, I see the changes in both my girls to be more intentional, more mature, more calm, less distracted, definitely more aware of who they are and how they go about their day, more self-aware in their own actions.
Woo! Bye, Hal. I love you. Bye, Hal.
My morning routine has changed over the years. When I was a professional athlete and I was actively boxing, I always had a routine because I had to get up and run, I had to go to the boxing gym, and I had to work out. So that's what my day was centered around. Now things are different because I'm a businesswoman, I'm a mom, I have a million things going on all the time. But in the morning, it's a great time for me to just really get centered and think, okay, what are my short-term goals, my long-term goals, making sure that I'm kind of keeping myself in check. Because what happens when I didn't have a routine is that you kind of just lose track of everything. You have the best intentions, but you don't have any way to kind of check yourself and make sure that you're doing the things that you say you want to do. Let's see, what was one of my latest affirmations? I will learn how to say no to the things I don't want to do. It can be anything. It's just kind of a reminder for yourself, and the more you say it, the more you believe it, you know, and it's embedded in you.
We have 60,000 thoughts a day. Our minds are always thinking. And for the average person, 80% of those are negative. We have a negativity bias that we inherited from our cavemen ancestors. The mind can't distinguish between real and imagined. So if you say, I am dumb, your mind accepts that as truth. If you say, I am smart, your mind accepts that as truth. I spend a lot of time during my day saying things like, I am filled with love. I am filled with grace. Another beautiful form of affirmation is gratitude. You know, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for my life. I am alive. I am healthy in my body, heart, and spirit. Anything that helps you feel more aligned with the you that you want to be, the you that you want to live out during your day, that is a beautiful form of affirmation.
A musical affirmation is using music with the power of words. So you're using uplifting, inspiring, motivational words, positive words, while there's music going on.
Escape, now create my own state. I'm the one with the power to dictate my own fate. Persist to exist. Now make a list of the egos in our lives we must dismiss. Cause it's a battle in the mind to know that we're divine. That we're the masterminds in this day-to-day grind. Come on, I'm an animal. I want my belly full. I will not go to my grave with this inside of me. Well, I'm an animal.
So a lot of what I do is combine beats and sounds and textures that make us feel a certain way with these words. It opens up different parts of our minds, of our bodies, of our souls, and allows these words to get just deeper and integrate even deeper into who we become.
Put your hands together for Brother James!
Our morning routine starts with a variation of things. The main thought that starts it off, though, is we have a rule that nothing enters our world until we're full. And the analogy I've always used is if you took a soda can and you opened it up and you emptied it out and you hand that small can to a child, the child can easily dent it, if not crush the whole can. Versus if you take the same can, fill it all the way up, pressurize it, and seal it, now that child has a very little chance of denting it and almost impossible for that child to crush it. And so my thought is, what's everything that can fit into that morning routine that fills you up, fuels you up, pressurizes you with awesome, great, powerful pressure pushing out, so that all the natural pressures that life puts on you is easily and effortlessly forged through by that almost force field you've created around you of energy. Now, treadmill desk is set up, and if you see, I have my vision boards wrapped around it, because my thought is if you're gonna be breathing and walking and visualizing, This is me looking way out into the future. What's the ultimate vision of what life looks like? And I'll start doing affirmations and incantations about this, where I'm activating my body. I'm looking at a visual image of what that future point looks like, and then I'm physically feeling it in my body while saying it and getting that vibrational energy to move inside of me so I could feel it at the same time. So I'm trying to see it, feel it, activate it. And if you go to the science aspect of this, all I'm doing is trying to activate as many lobes in my brain as possible.
Having visualizations tends to set literally visual scenery on the back of the visual cortex. And from the point of view of a neuroscientist, either doing fMRI or EEG, the brain patterns produced when you're imagining a scene are actually the same as when you're seeing that thing. So you're teaching your brain how to get used to the ideas that you'd like to eventually accomplish.
My name is Rista. I am a mother of 2 boys. I am a motivational speaker.
Most of you know my story, that I was sick and I was supposed to be blind, but God rescued me from blindness, and I received donated eyes from the United States of America. So my sight and my life is a miracle.
I had undergone a separation in my marriage, and also I had lost my job, so I was in a very serious depression. There was no one else to turn to, so I went to Google and I typed how to get out of depression. That's when I had suggestions, and part of it was the Miracle Morning. In the morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is take a glass of water and then brush my teeth. And after that, I pray, I read the Bible, and then I do meditation, and then affirmations. The positive energy around me is continuously expanding. And then I do visualization. I've always wanted to travel the world, so I always visualize myself with the aeroplanes and all that. I exercise. Mostly I like to do yoga and sit-ups. And then I read. Every day I write 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 things that I'm proud of, and 3 commitments that I have to perform on that day. So yeah, that is how my morning ritual looks like.
Wow, this is crazy. The Miracle Morning in Korean, the Korean edition. Wow, this is surreal. We just signed with 19 foreign publishers, and the Miracle Morning is going to publish in 19 countries, 17 translations. So one unexpected way that we really got the word out about the Miracle Morning came from one of my friends. And he said, I've shared the book with everyone on my sales team. And he said, almost every single one of our salespeople that's read the book, their sales have increased. He goes, what about doing like a Miracle Morning for salespeople? And he said, in customizing the Miracle Morning with affirmations and everything that were designed for increasing your sales and being successful as a salesperson. I said, that sounds like a great idea, sure. You know, I said, you want to co-author it with me? Why not? Then I met Honore Corder, and it really feels now like serendipity.
I am the co-creator of the Miracle Morning book series. We have almost a dozen titles in the series. We started with the Miracle Morning for real estate agents, and then salespeople, and then network marketers, and then we went to writing. And then we did the Miracle Morning for entrepreneurs, parents and families, the Art of Affirmations coloring book. And coming up next is one that is really, I'm really fond of this co-author and of this book. It's the Miracle Morning for college students. We've heard for thousands of years to practice any one of the lifesavers. And I think the reason that the Miracle Morning and the lifesavers message resonates is not really about the message, because it's not a new message. It's because the messenger is such a powerful messenger.
I could print your package to send to Reese.
We are going to Paris to film the Miracle Morning movie and spread the movement. I got the filmmaker in the bag. Well, where are you? There he is, filming right now. It's gonna be an adventure.
Hey, we're on the camera. We're going to Paris.
We are underneath the Eiffel Tower. There's my beautiful bride. It's actually a marathon 3 days for me with the media. So I'm meeting with television stations and radio stations, and I've got assigned 200 books this afternoon for Amazon, and then I do more TV and radio. So yeah, it's pretty nonstop the next 3 days, and I'll sleep on the way home.
And I read your book last September, and it changed my life.
Wow.
It did.
You hugged for that. That's amazing. Anyone can do it, especially if you don't consider yourself a morning person.
C'est le moment où tout le monde dort.
We are now fifth in the bestseller list to Amazon in France. It's very nice and very great.
The last few days have been beyond anything I ever imagined. And I don't know what I would have imagined. I mean, it was, a media tour to spread the Miracle Morning throughout Paris, France. I've never done anything like that before. I really did try to treat every interview, every opportunity, every experience as the most important of my life, of being here, because I wanted to make sure that I reached and impacted as many people in France as I possibly could with the Miracle Morning. You work so hard, you follow your passion and your dreams for so long, and almost as soon as you get to the place you've been working for, it switches, your emotions switch from this desire to fear of losing it all. And the Miracle Morning, especially the use of affirmations, enables me to address my fears in writing every day and remind myself that the fears are in my head, they're in my mind, and that life has proven that if you continue to do good things and put good out into the universe and work hard and move toward move confidently in the direction of your dreams, as Henry Thoreau once said, that life rewards you and that everything works out for the best. Even though it's never perfect, there's always challenges and obstacles along the way. You eventually get where you're moving towards.
I was born into a body that most people would say is a perfect body to have an excuse not to work out. They'd be like, oh, Sean, look at that. You're 3 feet tall, you're in a wheelchair. If you didn't work out, nobody would get on you about it. And that's sad, because who better should be working out than somebody who spends most of their day in a chair? And so my mentality is, if I can move this, if I am blessed enough to be able to lift something, stretch, pull, do whatever I gotta do, then I'm gonna use it. This body is a taxi cab that I am riding in during this time around. And so I wanna keep the cab running smooth. I wanna keep it clean. I wanna have a good time in this vehicle. So I don't spend my life going, oh, I wish my body looked like his so that I could work out and have a normal looking physique. No, I make the best physique that I can with what I have. I use air pumps as like chest press. I use pulleys and sandbags for weights. Self-care, which you would say are your morning rituals, is the cure to insecurity. When you're taking great care of yourself, and the quicker you can do it, the better, the less your insecurities start to surface and tell you you're not enough. And I think at the end of the day, people who don't want to exercise, they're basically writing out a prescription for their own depression.
If
if you exercise first thing in the morning, the positive benefits from that commitment sometimes last up to 15 hours after the initial exercise. So just by that morning ritual of getting involved in that intense exercise, creating that pharmacy of mastery which releases dopamine, the inspirational neurotransmitter, serotonin which calms you down and helps you fight stress, BDNF which amplifies your brain so you're thinking like a superhero. I mean, what would that do for you alone? It not only does that, it actually increases your metabolic rate first thing in the morning. So you burn fat much more quickly, which is key for a lot of people. We all have greatness within us. I believe a lot of people are going through their lives and they sort of resign themselves to being average. And they just think people like the great entrepreneurs and the great heroes and the great humanitarians and the great scientists are cut from a different cloth. And what a lot of good research is starting to show us is you don't get lucky, you create lucky. And if you look at the superstars, the great performers, they're not cut from any kind of a different cloth or DNA. They're just running different habits.
And he's wide open down the middle. Lewis Howes turns it, gets on, and Lewis Howes takes it to the house.
Lewis Howes just has to dance. And because of it, no one has a choice but to dance along.
Some guys don't like it, but deep down, you know they're smiling. You're too serious about this game. You're not going to have fun, and we're not going to achieve our goal of winning and moving to the next level, which is really why I'm here.
My morning routine starts off with gratitude, waking up and being grateful to have another day, because we never know when it's going to end. Next, I go into either meditation or right into a workout. I feel like either moving my mind or moving my body is one of the most important things to do right away. And if it's a workout, it'll be a number of different things. It can be playing basketball, it could be a lift, a hit workout, it could be a run. I just think when we have a big dream, we need to have the energy in order to make it come to life. And so exercise for me it's just non-negotiable. You know, we only have one life, and if we're not taking care of our own body, then it's not going to take care of us. And it's got to hold us back from achieving the dreams that we want.
Through the Miracle Morning and my routine, I lost 90 pounds in 8 months. And that's the crazy thing, is not only did I lose the weight and keep it off, but I changed my lifestyle and haven't wanted to or even considered turning back. I posted a picture in the Miracle Morning Facebook group, and I got like 700 and something likes like instantly. Like, hey, that's amazing what you've done. And in that moment, it clicked for me. I'd spent my whole life being inspired by other people, but I never realized that by talking about, struggling with my weight my entire life and then finally finding a solution in the Miracle Morning could give other people hope. So I always did stuff so that people would like me. Like, I thought that that's how you got value, was you had to perform. So like, I was always the class clown.
You gotta do a front flip. Belly flop.
Don't do a belly flop. Oh.
Oh my God.
And while it's all like funny to look back and laugh at, like I was so desperate for attention that all that was okay. Like that, it didn't matter that like I was a human being or I put myself in danger or that like could have drowned, I could have died from impact. Like people can, fall from 10 feet and die, and I just jumped off a 40-foot cliff because I wanted people to like me. I was also like a really angry person. Like I was so just furious. And I think a lot of that came from feeling like the world owed me something, but I never did anything about getting it. And so I saw other people that had gotten it and I was angry at them. Like I didn't want other people to be happy because I didn't feel like I knew how to be happy. So why should they? So I found Miracle Morning, and then I knew how to be happy. I used to live with this concept that everybody was either better than or worse than me. And so I was always just on this ladder trying to move up and trying to be better than other people. And there's not that same element of competition in my life anymore. Like I'm not on a ladder, I'm on a landscape, and we're all going forward. And like I get to be a part of that instead of being against it. I'm not angry at other people for being happy. I'm sad when I see them not realizing their dreams, and I want to bring them with me.
So I think reading is essential. I think it's an essential part of the Savers model. Hal suggests 10 to 15 minutes a day. You compound 10 to 15 minutes a day over the course of a year, that's a ton of reading. And we need to realize that any one big idea that we read from someone who spent a lot of time figuring it out can literally change our lives. You find that one little idea that either affirms something you already knew or maybe introduced you to a new idea, and you implement that, you compound that over months and years and decades, and it's truly astonishing what you can create.
I come across people, what's your favorite book? You know, what's the best book you've read in the last year? And they'll be like, well, I haven't read a book in the last year. And it's mind-boggling to me that even exists in places where people actually know how to read and they have access to books. The second way to learn is through the experiences of other people. You read their books, you go to their seminars, you listen to them, and then the third and most effective and efficient way to learn something is once you learn something, you teach it to someone else, okay, because that reinforces your knowledge. Most people that are readers, they can point to a book that has actually changed their thinking, the direction, their knowledge. And so when I read a book, it's really about trying to improve myself. I'm trying to actually learn something. And it could either be a negative aspect to me that I'm trying to improve, or it could just be, simply learning about business or getting better. But not everyone that is a reader is a leader, but I know very few leaders that are not readers.
I got a call from Hal, I can't remember exactly, it may have been last November. And he said, hey, JB, I just got to let you know I've got like fluid in my lungs. And my first thought was, that doesn't sound like a good thing.
I wish I had more energy to be more chipper, but it's going on. It's 1:13 in the morning, and I'm in St. David's Hospital, and I haven't slept very much in the last 2 weeks. I've had my lung drained 4 times, draining almost 8 liters of fluid, which I think is like 16 pounds. It's a lot of fluid, and I can't figure out what's wrong. My white blood cells and red blood cells are all out of whack. Whoever's watching this, even if it's just me watching this later, nothing but love and gratitude.
Hey, what's up, Hal? I heard that you were in the hospital and things weren't going well. Something about, fluids in your lungs, and, I just sent a couple prayers over to you, but never just told you straight up that I just am wishing for a speedy recovery. Yeah, if there's anything I can do to help you, man, let me know. I love you, man. Take care.
How you feeling? What do you have to say to our loyal friends and fans?
Well, having a needle stuck through your rib to drain fluid from around your heart so that you don't have heart failure seems
typical
like a good,
Friday, right?
Typical Friday, yeah. It's just a typical day at MD Anderson, living the dream at MD Anderson.
Yeah.
Learning the secrets of using the mind to achieve goals in health, wealth, and happiness. Modern medicine can do a lot to heal, but the mind is also a powerful part of that prescription. Take a look at these pictures. The 20-year-old man in this car was hit head-on at 70 miles an hour by a drunk driver. He was pronounced dead at the scene. So what happened? Well, please welcome Hal Elrod. Did you ever go back to those times where you thought, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth fighting?
Yes and no. I mean, the thoughts, of course, went through my mind of, how am I going to do this? How am I going to, my body's a wreck. How am I going to get better? But I don't think I ever gave up. I always thought the only place to go is forward. The only place to go is up. Right. I can't focus on the past. I've got to move past that and focus all of my energy and attention, not on complaining about what went wrong and wishing it didn't happen, but all of my energy went into my thoughts, words, and actions that would move me forward and align with what I wanted.
I found out about you from Brianna Greenspan, who is in the audience, who you have also encouraged her, and she said the book is amazing. And Brianna, you went through something in your life too, where you were told probably won't walk.
When I was 12, I cracked my spine, and when I was 19, I had fusion surgery, but my body rejected it, and I couldn't walk for a year and a half. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disorder that affects the collagen in your body. A lot of people relate it to having MS and fibromyalgia together.
I feel sick. My head hurts.
My spine hurts. Sometimes there's challenges walking, talking, seeing, hearing, and breathing. I incorporate tons of different rituals and therapies and modalities that help me become stronger, and the Miracle Morning is certainly one of those. I am grateful for my health. I feel relaxed, open, and balanced. I'm ready and committed to rock this Miracle Morning. People are gonna show up and it's gonna change their lives. The room is all set up. All of this art was actually created by Paul Joy, who had been doing the Miracle Morning for about a year, and he posted something in the group, and I saw them and immediately reached out and said, hey, I want to create something that can help people elevate their environment and shift their subconscious thinking. And he immediately was on board, was super excited. I told Hal what I was doing, and he immediately loved it, and the rest is history. I feel normal for the first time. That's exactly what I was hoping to do, to make a whole bunch of people that have felt misdiagnosed, misunderstood, and like they were a total weirdo feel normal for the first time.
There's quite a bit of science behind the application of journaling and the benefits of it. The most compelling evidence is actually in the field of gratitude journaling. When you write down what you're grateful for and you emote that experience, we found within 6 to 8 weeks, people have significantly, they score higher on happiness baselines. They also score higher in terms of being able to help other people, something called pro-social behavior. You create the day before the day starts. People talk about law of attraction, but what I'm talking about is a very real, consistent daily creation where you're doing it every day. At night, you open up your journal, you look at what the things you did and didn't do. It helps keep you accountable to the actual actions that you're taking to move forward in life. When people write down what they commit to, they're more likely to follow through on that.
Interesting story. The doctors thought I was in denial because I was so happy and positive. They actually called my parents in one day and they sat them down and they said, Mr. and Mrs. Elrod, we're very concerned with your son. We believe Hal is in denial because every time we see Hal, he's always smiling and laughing and joking and making us laugh, and that's not normal. They said, not for a 20-year-old kid that doesn't know if he's gonna walk again. He should be angry that this happened to him. He should, depressed. He should be sad. Those are normal responses. So my dad came in that night, and I didn't know this conversation even happened, but he said, how are you feeling? We haven't really talked about how you're processing this. Are you sad? Are you feeling, sorry that, you might not walk again? Or, and he said, I know you say you're going to, but are you feeling sad that the doctors say you might not? And I looked at my dad, I said, Dad. I didn't get up, I was still. Dad, this whole thing's an act, I'm fine. No. I said, Dad, I can't change what happened to me. I can't change that I was in an accident. The only choice I have is to make the most of what I have. Be grateful for everything that I've still got and grateful for the opportunities that lie ahead. And I said, Dad, I always wanted to be a motivational speaker, right? You know that. Dad said, yeah. I said, I never really had anything worth talking about.
Here's the whole show. I've got a catheter in my heart that is draining the fluid out from my heart. It's mostly drained. It's going well. Got a catheter in my lung that is draining the fluid from my lung. Hooked up to electrodes to make sure I don't have a heart attack. And I've been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Luckily, it's a treatable form of leukemia. It's one they have a good success rate with. And they actually, with allopathic medicine, Western medicine, can get it into remission within usually 2 to 4 weeks. The key is keeping it in remission, which, you know, there's the success rate is not as high.
My father had died of cancer when he was 51. He had cancer 3 different times in his life at 17, 28, and then passed away of it, but didn't think any of my children would ever get it. So yeah, shocked, still shocked.
You idolize someone and you see them as the strongest, healthiest, like, person you've ever known, and then something gets thrown at them that makes you remember they're human, and it's a wake-up call.
They did tell me it looks like I'll be losing my hair in a few weeks, so I spiked it. I thought, all right, this might be my last chance to spike my hair, so I did it up today. I'm feeling good.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki. I heard kind of by the grapevine that you may have recurring cancer or something. I just want to call this, wish you the best, and thank you for your contribution to the world with your book, Miracle Morning, and to my life personally.
Al, this is Garrett, man. I hope you're doing well. I was just hope your health is getting better. Just wanted to call and check in, see how you're doing. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
All right, Yami, thank you so much. Have a great day. I will see you soon. So for me, while I'm focused on being optimistic and all of that most of the time, there are times where the realism sets in, and I realize that I could die. Very well, despite all the positivity, I could die. With a wife and 2 babies. Leaving them is terrifying. So those moments, those dark moments, those fearful moments, I really try to minimize and not to deny them. I feel them, but I don't dwell there, right? And I really believe that you want to look at the worst case scenario, and you want to acknowledge it and then accept it and then be at peace with it, so that it doesn't hold you back. And it's the same thing when I was in the car accident. This was unexpected, the cancer experience, but I really believe, I look back on my car accident that I experienced when I was 20 years old and dead for 6 minutes, broke 11 bones, told I'd never walk again. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. The car accident was the best thing that ever happened to me. And so now I feel, even though I'm in the midst of the cancer, that they say hindsight's 20/20. Why wait till the future to see the positivity, the power in every experience we face, good or bad? Every experience we face is an asset if we choose to see it that way. And so for me, I really believe that the cancer I have unwavering faith that I will beat it, I'll overcome it. And then beyond that, just as the accident was the best thing that ever happened to me, I really believe, because it allowed me to share it with other people and help them. The cancer is going to be the new best thing that ever happened to me, and then I'm going to find a way to keep helping others through the experience and the things that I'm learning and overcoming.
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the things that draws people into Hal, and why so many people from around the world love and respect him is he's walking the talk even when the chips are down.
Why Hal? That just doesn't seem right. He's offering so much to the world. Why would he be faced with this challenge? But you know, in life, you don't get to say what's fair and not fair. That's not what life gives you. Life gives you things, and you choose to turn those things that happen into gold or silver or opportunity or lessons, or you choose something different. And Hal is choosing to turn this challenge into an opportunity for all of us to grow. And I think the way we honor Hal is by choosing to grow with him through this experience and celebrate his health when he gets to the other side. Yes, it's not fair, but life, nowhere in the operating manual of life does it say life has to be fair. Life gives you a serving, and you have to choose how you deal with that serving. And God bless Hal for being so strong in facing his challenge.
I believe that there are people on this earth that are the Hal Elrods of the world. They get put on this earth to endure things that the average person couldn't, to remind us that the average person can.
Seconds to go. 10 seconds. How's my plank? How's my posture?
4, 3, 2, 1.
My 2017 Healing Cancer Affirmations. I will do whatever it takes, putting forth extraordinary effort to beat cancer and live a long, healthy life for my family. I will beat cancer for Ursula because I committed to her forever and a day, and I want to grow old and spend the rest of our lives together. I'll beat cancer for Sophie because she needs her daddy. I'll beat cancer for Sophie because she needs her daddy's love and influence. I'll beat cancer for Halston because he needs my love, leadership, and guidance. I'll beat cancer. I don't normally read these out loud. Read them to myself. I'll beat cancer for Dad because he gave up everything to heal me and save my life. I'll beat cancer for Mom because she doesn't deserve to lose another child. I'll beat cancer for me because I want and deserve to live a long life. And I'll beat cancer for the millions of people who are themselves battling cancer or some other disease and don't have the knowledge or resources that I do and desperately need my leadership and support. All right, those are my affirmations. Time to visualize.
Kind of another topic, and I don't want to get diverted too much by this, but we're
so Hal's blood counts, specifically his hemoglobin count was under to where he needs blood transfusion. The good thing is, because of his age and his health, he's been doing really well, and we've met people that are on like 50 medications. He's on one right now, besides his chemo and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're just taking it one day at a time and doing the best we can and trying to investigate, what's best for Hal's health, to support him through the chemotherapy and afterwards.
So between treatments, I'm focusing on building up my immunity. So there's wellness formula. There's garlic immune. This is my parlor trick that I've been doing since I was a teen, is to drink all of these. And I just got a Miracle Morning Cup. That way everyone knows this is my cup. There's no question whose cup this is. It's the only Miracle Morning cup in the house. My dad is my primary caretaker. He is over there juicing for me. Yeah, this is living in 3 places. Living between an apartment here in Houston with my dad.
In the hospital.
And living in the hospital, and then living at home with my family in my home.
And at a certain point, he said I should go home. It kind of got quiet, and I thought about it. And the next day, I told him, I said, you know, Hal, I can't leave you. And he said, which I thought was interesting. He said, I'm so glad you said that because I don't want you to go.
It's hard and it's scary, and I try to be strong for him, for the kids. I don't want the kids to be scared. Well, I only tell them the positive things, and if they bring up the scary things, I answer it in a way a 7-year-old will understand or a 4-year-old will understand. It's not easy, and we're positive. We're staying hopeful. He's technically already in remission. We just got to get through the treatments. But our life is anything but normal right now.
So maybe you'll take turns, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But what is?
Go Sophia House. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
We think it's great that he's almost done. 2 more months. 2 more months. 2 more. But when it first started, we didn't like it. We thought he had pneumonia, which is it's better than cancer. And I'm like, phew, at least he doesn't have cancer. And then my mom and dad were joking about him having cancer. And he's like, sweetie, I have cancer. And I'm like, Daddy, no you don't. And then he actually has cancer.
This is, I guess, a cancer video diary that I'm not recording with the thought of sharing it with anybody. And the other 3 I recorded were kind of recorded with the idea that I might share them. I might not. I really didn't know. And I was in really good spirits. When I recorded those, so it was easier to record them. I felt good. I almost felt guilty for feeling good, and despite having cancer, I go, why is my cancer? I feel easy. I don't feel sick. I'm not throwing up. It feels normal. I'm just watching Netflix on my laptop like everybody else is doing at 9 at night, you know, binging on Netflix. Which is the funny part is I didn't do that before. So part of this realization is to, you know, that I was so focused on work and productivity that I just wasn't taking enough time to enjoy. And it was always just putting in any kind of relaxation or anything. I was doing it, but I was almost doing it. I don't know. And also my brain is, I can hardly remember or think of thoughts here. So that's why this is just for me and maybe my family someday, and maybe it goes public. I put it public. I don't know. But I just was crying earlier and thought I want to capture these real moments.
Are you telling me my hole is really tight? There's a lot of people in there. The leadership team's in there. You complete me? Q&A. There you go. Q&A. They figured it out. All right.
It's time to slow down and give myself a little love right now.
We have a video message that we're going to play. And this was pre-recorded just in the last day or two by our good friend Hal Elrod. And I'll share with all of you right now, we've been throughout the day seeing if there was a time where he wanted to address us live. And he's having a rough day right now. right? I'm just going to call it as it is. He's having a rough day. So if you guys want to cue it up, that'd be awesome.
I am coming to you today from the hospital, just in case you thought this was what my office looks like. Nope, I am in the hospital, undergoing treatment right now. Doctor's orders, which is why sadly I am not there with you. However, the lesson, and really it's to me the question that I believe we need to be asking ourselves is, how are we impacting the world and not just our bank account? The biggest impact we can make is how we treat other people, how we show up to our work. You've heard me say this before, I think the greatest gift we can give to people around us is to live to our full potential, so that we give them permission and confidence and courage to live to their full potential. So how are you showing up, right? That's the question. How are we showing up? Love you. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Hey, if you want to turn and acknowledge Hal, he can see you in that camera right back there. Give Hal a big round of applause. We love you, buddy.
This is the Elrod family for the Miracle Morning movie, Elrod interview, take one. Soft sticks marker. Get the tongue.
The Miracle Morning began as a daily ritual to get everything that you want out of life. You know, success, health, happiness, money, love, etc. And I guess it's the cancer that really taught me that what it's really about is what matters most, and what we've already had, all of us already have, which is relationships and the people that we love. And I found out personally that I was addicted to success and achievement, and the Miracle Morning helped me get everything that I wanted. And then when I got everything that I wanted, I realized that although I said family was number one and most important, my schedule didn't reflect that. My calendar didn't reflect that. I was a workaholic, and I find that too many of us are doing that. We're squeezing in time, an hour here, a minute there, 10 minutes there. I would set the timer to play with my children and not give them the time that they deserved. And I was lying to myself, thinking that I was doing it all for them. I was thinking that my role was a provider, and I realized that I wasn't a provider, wasn't my most important role. It was a father and a husband, and providing was something that I did, but my kids weren't gonna remember how many mortgage payments I made. My kids weren't gonna remember how many hours I worked and churned and burned and hustled and grinded and whatever term you used as a badge of entrepreneurial honor. Really what mattered is the people that I love and spending time with them. And the Miracle Morning now, for me, I still do it every day. I've done it almost every single day for, 8 or 9 years now.
Want a sun gaze? Want to do a little sun gazing? I always wonder if my neighbors are looking out their windows watching me in the morning.
What it's about, though, is giving to myself first every single day so that I can become the person that I need to be the best dad and be the best husband and be the best CEO and be the best friend and leader and son. And that's what the Miracle Morning is about. It's about becoming your best every single day so that you can show up and give your best to the people that matter most to you in your world and in your life.
The bell. Just ding, 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 ding. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mom. Everyone that has been a part of this and part of the journey, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you so much.
got amazing news that not only is Hal still in remission, but his tests from his most recent bone marrow aspiration came back
Negative residual disease, which
so
means there's
0%.
0%.
Big fat 0.
Yeah.
So Hal's success, probability of success of staying in remission is almost
95%
guaranteed.
or
So
something,
we are just on cloud nine, and we love you all. Thank you so much
for your support. We
supporting
can never
us
thank you
through
enough
this.
for extraordinary love and support.
We're just so happy. Love you.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Yeah, he's filming the movie right now. The movie is all going to be about us talking about that he's filming the movie right now.
Where's the makeover room? Where?
Nick.
This is my miracle morning. I'm waking up to live on my dreams. This is our miracle morning. Bring out the best in you and me.
Wake up to your full potential. The miracle morning is so essential. Win the morning, win the day. Work done early, we can play. Change our life and our behavior. Start the day with 6 lifesavers. Time to make a little space and slow down. Life's not a race. Silence is our meditation. Program our thoughts with affirmations. Easy the future with visualization. The body